welcome to our EdTech interview with our two EdTech leaders. My name is Angie Rodriguez, and we have Mr. Juan Perez and Ms. Christine Romanelli. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Hi. So this is volume 2 of the EdTech interview leaders. So today we are interviewing again Mr. Juan Perez and Ms. Christine Romanelli from UISD. So the first question I have for you all is number 1, what is your job title at the district?
Our job titles are instructional technology coordinators.
Perfect. Okay. And so what are some of the responsibilities that you all do as coordinators?
So some of the
okay. So then we do a few different things. So
yeah. So generally what we do is we go ahead and we try to help out with any of the instructional technology needs. We are the ones that kind of help marry the curriculum and the technology piece. So we're the ones that try and kind of get you guys together. Within our own department, we go ahead and we all are assigned different job duties and tasks. Whether it be, for example, I go ahead and I help with the Gabbert webpage system that we have in the district, along with the interactive flat panels and different things of that nature. But us as a whole, our goal is to go ahead and to provide the best instructional technology experience, to go ahead and to help you, to help the teacher and the students with that endeavor.
Perfect. So you mentioned, Ms. Romanelli, that I believe there's 6 coordinators, correct me if I'm wrong, for in your department. So it's you, Ms. Romanelli, Mr. Perez, and I believe Ms. Jessica, I forgot her name. Garza, and some other individuals that I haven't met yet in the district.
Yes.
So you guys mentioned that even though you're all coordinators, you all have your specific roles or duties to do. So Mr. Perez, what are you in charge of, starting with you, like your specific site?
Yes, so what Christine had mentioned is basically we all help out and we're assigned to different campuses to do exactly what she said, is we marry the curriculum with the technology. We basically help the teachers integrate it into the classroom. And in addition to that, we all have different duties. So for example, Christine had said she helps to manage the Gabbert webpage. She helps out with that. I assist her with that, but in addition, I also help out with the inventory for the interactive flat panels. Okay, so I have a spreadsheet that handles all the inventory for that. I know which panels are at each campus, what the serial number is, what the tag number is, the maps of the campuses showing where the panels are located. In addition to that, I also help out with the Google certification. So I keep track of everybody who's been certified by us, whether it's a level 1, a level 2, or a certified trainer, when their certifications will expire. And so those are 2 of my extra duties, but we are assigned different campuses. So we do go to those campuses. So this year I am going to be assisting more at the high school. We do have a couple of elementaries that are assigned to us because there's just too many of them. But you know, just because we are assigned to a high school doesn't mean we'll never go to a middle school or an elementary, or that it's any different. It's just that that's what we focus on, and we help those teachers. And of course, the curriculum is very different at those levels. But for the most part, we integrate the technology in the classroom with the curriculum.
Perfect. Thank you. So just moving on to our next question. So this week, our class is focusing more on professional development regarding teachers and other staff, or mainly teachers. So my third question is, how do you guys determine what kind of professional development is needed throughout the district?
Okay.
You want to start with this one, Christine, and then we'll take turns.
Go ahead.
Okay. So typically, we'll see if there's any new programs or software. We always feel that it's important that the teachers know how to utilize it. For example, every time we have a new initiative, the IFPs, for example, when they started coming on board, we knew that the teachers needed the training. So we basically went out, and that was all hands on deck, and we wanted to make sure that everybody knew how they were to turn them on. They knew about the smart software, and we also became a Google district at one time. So we had to train everybody on Google. So anything that's new in the district, we always hit that first. New teachers that come on board, every year we get new teachers. So even throughout the school year, we get new teachers. So depending on which campus gets those new teachers, we know that they're going to need the basics. We know that they're going to need to know about the interactive path panel, how to turn it on, how to turn it off. We're going to have to show them, for example, right now it's Nearpod. Every teacher needs to know how to use Nearpod because the district has made that purchase. So the district makes certain purchases, and we have to make sure that they're utilized. So that is our priority, is to make sure that teachers are trained on how to use these programs, know that those programs are available, and we do check usage reports. So if we see that they're not being used, well, then if they're not being used, we talk to the coordinators and we figure out, hey, are you going to use this program or not? If they are going to use the program, well, we need to figure out how we can integrate your curriculum into these programs so that these teachers start using the programs.
Mhm.
And so we have a lot of communication with the content coordinators when it comes to that. We will do visits on campus. There are teachers at different levels. So in addition to making sure that they know how to use the programs that are available to them and that they're trained when they become available, we'll stop by at the campus. We'll do informal walkthroughs, and we'll take a peek and see what they're working on, what they're doing, and we may stop by and visit with them informally. It's not a gotcha moment. It's more like, hey, did you know you have access to this? And sometimes they'll say no. And so we'll say, hey, well, let me schedule a time when I can come by and I can kind of help you out. And so one of the things that I typically will see is that teachers use the ink on the IFP,
Mhm.
but they're not aware of, let's say, the Smart Ink document viewer and how easier their life would be if they were to use that with the PDFs instead of using it on the website. Because when you open a PDF, it just opens on a website.
Yeah.
And so when I show them that, they're like, oh my God, I wish I had known about this sooner. So
Mhm.
we see things that teachers are doing, and then we kind of like, hey, did you know this? And that's what we teach them on. What is going to help them take their lesson to the next level,
Mhm.
and to help make their jobs easier too.
Mhm.
So, and on top of that, we'll ask them, hey, what are you working on this week? I'm I'm going to give them a test this week. Okay, great. What are you going to give it to them on? Oh, I'm going to use this. Well, have you tried using this? Have you tried doing it this way? No, I haven't. Let me help you. So we kind of guide them. We sometimes do it for them. They like it. Then they learn how to do it, and we go from there. I think
Nice.
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So that's why I would see you sometimes in my classroom. In
Yeah.
those informal. And I would see you and I'd be like, am I in trouble?
Yeah, a lot of people, I mean, teachers in general, I mean, I've been on that side, so I understand that they can feel uncomfortable having somebody come and watch you, but we're there to help, and that's what we want teachers to understand, is we're not there to have a gotcha, and a lot of people feel that way. Maybe they've experienced something like that before. I know I have. So we always try and let the teachers know that we're not there to get them, we're there to help them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And another tool that we go ahead and we also use is, I know in May, at the end of the school year, they go ahead and the principals, they ask you to kind of come together and do like your campus improvement plan.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
So we also go ahead and we use that. And as long as the district has one too, which is it's called DIP, and then you guys have yours. And so what we do is we go ahead and we also look into those tools so we can go ahead and we can see, which is where Louis was talking about as far as district initiatives go, the near pods and this, and then the IFPs and so on and so forth, as well as the campus needs based assessments. And we have to go ahead and we go through that. So those are a couple other tools that we go ahead and we do utilize that that you guys produce. And a lot of you guys are like, I just put whatever, yeah, it's already made. Yeah, we want to go ahead and we want to leave.
Yeah.
But it's our tool that we use to go ahead and to help prepare those staff developments for you guys.
Okay. So from that, those Google Forms, which is the campus improvement plan, which is per campus, of course, do you guys make like I guess like a plan per campus, or that, how do you guys do that? Or
So what we do is each of the campuses also have instructional an ITT,
right.
instructional technology trainer.
Mhm.
So through them also, as they went ahead, because they're on the campuses, they know your needs.
Mhm.
We go ahead and we give them a form. They go ahead and they write everything down. We take everything into consideration.
Okay.
So then I think in one of the questions, actually the next question, it said it has to do about education levels,
Correct.
trained by levels.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna kind of go into that one.
Yes, go ahead.
So what we do with the training levels is that we, based on the information that we get, we understand that all the training levels they vary.
Mhm.
I can't go into a biology room and start showing you guys how to go ahead and how to do pre-K stuff, because it's not your content. You're not seeing it in your native field.
Mhm.
And that's where we have to go ahead and we have to adjust, because there's things that you see in high school that middle school doesn't, that not that they don't care about, but that they don't emphasize on, because of the exams are different.
Correct.
Whereas a pre-K person may not, they're too small to go ahead and to understand those. So we have to go ahead and vary. And a real good example was when we were doing the when we did the transition during COVID, right, Louis?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
When we were doing the transition during COVID, we went ahead, we had all different types of learners. So we had to build an intro, an intermediate, and a experienced type. And based on the people that were coming into our sessions, we had to find a happy medium and kind of go from there.
Correct. Wow. Yeah, those during COVID, it was a crazy time. We had to all of us, no matter what level or what our position was, we all had to come together and work together.
Yes.
For
Yes.
Yes. So just transitioning to the next question, do you and your colleagues ever conduct a needs or task analysis after conducting trainings? And if so, what are some of your methods to solve any obstacles that you might encounter?
So, yeah, we can take turns.
Okay.
So, on a needs or task analysis for the trainings, we typically will revisit. We want to, whatever we train on, we want to go and we want to see if it's actually being implemented. Because if it's not being implemented, that means that obviously they didn't learn it, or they're just too busy, or whatever the case. Sometimes what happens is, and I've had teachers, I can teach them something and they want to do it, but they're scared. They're scared of actually doing it in front of their students because they don't want to look dumb.
Yeah.
Like they're afraid, because some people are very comfortable with the technology, but some people aren't. So I'll offer to be with them in the classroom, and I'll offer to help them if they get stuck. Okay. So that's helped out some of the teachers. Some of them, I'll even spend a day with them in the classroom, helping them to actually get their feet wet, learning new software. I've done it before with, it was study sync. The teachers weren't sure how to sync their students with the classroom. And so it was kind of like a little multi-step process, but I was able to help them get it done. And once they got it done, they told the other teachers that it was great, and then the other teachers kind of like, followed
Yeah.
their footsteps.
Mhm.
Okay. And as well as obviously, like you mentioned right now, the COVID. Um, when that happened, people took Google Classroom. Well, first of all, Classroom wasn't really it was available, but it really was like, it was an option.
Mhm.
Um, but people, there was a lot of teachers that really, they were just used to doing the paper pencil thing. They didn't really care to spend too much time on technology. And then when that hit, they were forced to.
Correct.
So they became ready, willing, and able to learn.
Mhm.
And so we needed to also adjust ourselves, because now not only we were just training, because people can come into the training and they'll just watch the training and then they'll either do it or they won't. But now they had to learn it. So we had a lot of questions, and there was a lot of issues, and there was a lot of troubleshooting, and there was like, you know what, they didn't really understand how to do this. We have to kind of like come up with a training, a video on how to show them how to just do this one part.
Right.
We had one, if I recall, I'm trying to remember, but I know it had to do with the IFP that people didn't know. I think it was it how to turn it on, Christine, with the switch in the back, that
Yes.
they were off and they didn't know how to turn it on. So that was one thing that we had to kind of like come up with a training quickly, because the new teachers were coming in. There was just too many of them that we couldn't get to all of them at the same time. So we had to figure out a way, how can we get this into their hands immediately, quickly? And during the COVID, Christine was the one that handled all of the Teacher Learning Hub materials. We did the trainings and we turned them over to Christine, and she was the one that created the hub for the teachers, for the students, and for the parents. And so we have to kind of like, okay, just depending on what the situation is and what the environment is looking like at that time, we have to adjust ourselves. And so, Christine played a very big part in that, making sure that everything was there and it was all ready to go for the teachers.
Mhm.
Not only that, but things get updated and change all the time.
Mhm.
So now we have to go back and we have to redo all the material that we have in the hub to basically show the format and the layout of the software as it's updated now.
Mhm.
So we have to continually, consistently keep updating everything as technology is updating. And of course, the obstacles are always, we keep telling the teachers, hey, there's a teacher learning hub. Hey, there's a teacher learning hub. But there's always going to be that they're so inundated with so much information that they forget. But we always keep trying to remind them, like, hey, every training we have, there's the teacher learning hub. There's a teacher learning hub. And we keep showing them where to find all of these resources that we've created throughout the years. And of course, we also try to keep them updated as well. Christine, did I leave anything out?
No, that's, I mean, that's basically what we do. But aside from also trying to analyze and do all this, it's kind of like you guys, when you go ahead and you have when you have you have a teach and you have so many questions on this one thing, then you have to kind of come back, reflect. This is okay. Well, I had a lot of questions on this. Maybe I wasn't clear. Maybe I need to go back and do it, which is exactly what happened again during COVID. We had to regroup, strategize, and then that's why we went ahead and based on, and don't think we don't look. I mean, we look at the evaluations, all the ERO evaluations. I mean, that helps us too,
Mhm.
because after
Mhm.
that, then we came back in later that fall, as a matter of fact, and we came up with those 30-minute little tidbit trainings.
Mhm.
So that's another way, because now, okay, yes, you have to do all the Kagan strategies. Yes, you have to do this. Yes, you have to do that. Now we're virtual. Well, where's your shoulder partner? Well, I don't know. He's down the street. I mean, how do we do this? So that's so that's how, and that's how, based on your feedback from there,
Mhm.
based on what we were experiencing from you and the questions we were getting from the trainings during that time, we also had to come back as a team and figure out, okay, what's happening. And that's how we ended up with those 30-minute those little sessions, those little tips and tricks. And that's how we ended up putting those in. So that's how we did that.
Yeah, there's a lot of work, and I've been to the teacher learning hub. I actually look at it. So I can see all the hard work that you guys do, and I appreciate it, talking not as just as a student but as a teacher as well.
Yes,
So
thank you.
I'm very appreciative
Yeah.
of your work. And the last question, what kind of emerging technologies have you all worked with that you thought like, hey, like this is a really good one. It made a tremendous impact from your experience for our district at least.
Well, the one that we went ahead and we're working on constantly right now,
Mhm.
and Louis knows, is the interactive flat panels.
Hmm.
The interactive flat panels have become a game changer for us because we went from the Iki Elmo to the IFP, the interactive flat panel. So now there's a lot more collaboration that's being done in the classrooms with the teacher and the student because of the software and the panels, and then they can come up and you have many people to go over there and they can touch it. So that's one of the things that I've seen. Louis, do you want to?
Well, the only other thing is obviously the mobile learning devices.
Yes,
We
yes,
we
you're right.
obviously started off with not only the IFPs but with the iPads was a big deal at one time. And every time that there's new technology, there's always resistance.
Hmm.
When people went from the overhead projectors, the transparency,
Mhm.
and then they went to the projector, there was resistance, and then okay, great, I'll deal with this. Same thing with the IFEs. Same thing with the iPads. A lot of the teachers didn't even want to use the iPads, and they just stayed in the corner. And now they don't want to give them up. Now they want, can I get more? Because they only had class sets at one time, and
Yeah.
now because of COVID,
Mhm.
it's now a one-to-one type of thing. And now it's like, hey, it's not working. Hey, can I get more? Like we have a tree outside that grows them, right? But yes, the IFPs have been a big deal because um, at first the teachers were very, they were kind of hesitant, which is normal. But now there's teachers that don't have one because they're not in a core content area. But
Mhm.
we're slowly and surely getting there because the new campuses, they all have one pretty much. And so we're trying to plug in the holes now. It's going to take us a little bit of time, but it's getting done. But now it's more of a demand. Now they really want it, which is great for us because now they actually want to learn it. They actually want to use it. And it's easier for us to teach them new things that are coming out because they actually want to learn it, how to use it. Um, but yeah, basically going digital. When the department opened up with the mobile learning devices and the IFPs, that has made a huge impact in the district because of obviously the kids, they love to have their hands on a device. You know, now the only challenge is since everything is being done on a device, the handwriting has kind of like gone away a little bit. There's
Mhm.
skills to handwrite because it's all typed now.
Yes.
Um, that's going to be a challenge, though. I think that's very important. But yeah, that's as far as an impact, all the technology, which is the iPads, Chromebooks, IFPs, it's all played a very big part because not only with that technology being implemented, along comes the software as well. All of the programs like Quizlet and what's it called, Edulastic and Smart. It was Lumio. Now we're using Nearpod. A lot of digital resources are now being utilized where before you didn't have digital resources.
Mhm.
You used workbooks. So
Yes.
now we jumped into a digital resource type of era in the school district where it's all about thinking outside the box. And we have teachers that'll come up with some great stuff. They'll create things as well.
Mhm.
Some teachers want to buy their own things, and we tell them, well, sometimes things are not going to work if they're not allowed by the district, and we're not going to allow it.
Mhm.
But You know, we had, I remember there was a time when a teacher paid for his own hotspot to be able to do things with his class. And now we've got all of this technology available to them. So it's great.
Perfect. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us in volume 2 of the EdTech Leader Interviews.